As you probably know, last week was Earth Day, and I wanted to do something special for Earth Day this year. As you can see, I'm sitting in the middle of a field. So let's find out why I'm here and what I'm going to do. Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Yvonne and I am on a journey towards sustainability and conscious living. In this video, I'm going to celebrate Earth Day and plant a tree. I will also try and answer the question, can planting more trees help save the Earth? This is a big question, and it seems that no one really has the answer to it. I see articles often saying the best way to reduce CO2 in the atmosphere is to plant more trees and stop deforestation around the world. But I also see articles saying this isn't enough, and trees are only a small part of the bigger solution. So what is it? Should we plant more trees? Let's find out. But before we get started, make sure to like this video and let me know in the comments if you think we should plant more trees. Ever since I was a little girl, I have always loved trees. Running and playing in the forest behind my house with the neighborhood children was always fun. So for me, it feels right to want to plant more trees. But what does the science say about planting trees? If you have taken any science classes growing up, you probably know the benefits of trees. According to research, trees reduce the urban heat island effect in cities. This is something I talked about in my video about urban green spaces. Trees also improve our air quality by filtering harmful dust and pollutants such as ozone and CO2 from the air we breathe. They give off oxygen, which is kind of important. They reduce the amount of stormwater runoff, which reduces erosion and pollution in our waterways. Trees also provide food, protection, and homes for many birds and other animals. These are just some of the many benefits of trees. But can planting more actually save the planet? In 2019, scientists published a paper saying we could and should plant 1.2 trillion trees. The Guardian reported, planting billions of trees across the world is one of the biggest and cheapest ways of taking CO2 out of the atmosphere to tackle the climate crisis. This article said, the analysis found there are 1.7 billion hectares of treeless land on which 1.2 trillion native tree saplings would naturally grow. That area is about 11% of all land and equivalent to the size of the US and China combined. One of the professors who led the research said, "What blows my mind is the scale. I thought restoration would be in the top 10, but it is overwhelmingly more powerful than all of the other climate change solutions proposed." So, because planting trees is so powerful and important, I decided to plant a tree for Earth Day here in Beijing. It's bright and early. It's like, not even 8 o'clock, and we're ready to go plant some trees. And I'm not the only one. There's a whole crowd, a couple of buses, and lots of excited people to go plant some trees. This morning we left Beijing, and after about an hour drive we arrived here at this place in the countryside. I was really surprised when I arrived here because it is actually a whole setup, and that's not what I expected. We just arrived, and this is not what I was expecting. This seems to be a massive event, like tons of buses. We're being herded towards the entrance, just like big groups of people, lots of kids. A lot bigger than I was thinking. But if all these people here are going to be planting trees, that's a good thing. But yeah, we're going to go find our spot for our tree in a moment and see if we can dig that hole and plant that tree. I don't really know what's going on here. Maybe we're going to have a lesson on how to plant a tree. Okay, the women were told to get the water, so I'm on my way to get the water that I'll need to pour on the tree after I planted it, and then the men were told to get the shovels, so we had to split up. And I guess here behind me more people had already started to plant their trees, but we're gonna go somewhere else and get some water. Alright, let's go plant these trees. I'm ready. Got the shovel, got the bucket for the water, And we got a spot for our trees. We're going to plant 2 trees, here and here, and we got very clear directions on how to do this, so let's go start digging. We dug the 2 holes, now we're going to get 2 trees. We got the 2 trees, we have the holes, so I'm going to go ahead and plant them. First take out the protection.
But then it will be mud? Heavy?
Alright, here we go. Now we put the dirt back in the hole, right? Right. 1 down.
Yeah, but burying a cat.
1 more to go.
Where? Here?
Planted the trees, put them in the soil. Now, gonna get some water. Got some water.
Oh, it's not the planting. Ah, it's not the planting. No, he's started like that. Okay.
Right here? Okay.
Nice. First tree fully planted.
Yes, I've seen that.
Second one done. But they might need a little bit more water. But at the start I said there are articles that state planting trees isn't going to save the planet. Why do some scientists think that planting more trees isn't the solution? Well, we've got to dig a little deeper to find the answer. Some scientists might even go as far as saying that planting more trees can harm the environment. There are 2 main concerns, which include how, what and where afforestation is taking place and human pollution. Let's start with afforestation efforts. There are 2 countries that are responsible for the most greening of Earth, which might surprise some people because they are China and India. According to NASA, China's outsized contribution to the global greening trend comes in large part from programs to conserve and expand forests. These were developed in an effort to reduce the effects of soil erosion, air pollution, and climate change. This accounts for about 42% of their greening efforts, while the remaining mostly comes from intensive cultivation of food crops. While China is attempting to conserve and expand forests, most of India's gains, around 82%, comes from intensive cultivation of food crops. So let's look at China's afforestation efforts. Like I said in my last video about chopsticks, forest coverage in China has officially increased since 1978, from 12% to almost 22%. This is great because, like we just found out, planting more trees is the best and cheapest solution for solving climate change. Chio, China? Well, not so fast. Remember that other group of scientists? Yes, it's true. China has had some problems with their afforestation efforts. In 1978, China launched the Great Green Wall, which is where a lot of their afforestation efforts have been focused. The 3 North Shelter Forest Program, or commonly called the Great Green Wall, aimed to grow 35 million hectares of new trees, a forest the size of Germany, across the country's north by 2050. According to Bloomberg Green, the story goes like this. The program was beset by problems from the start because of poor planning, the unrealistic demands on local government, and a poor understanding of how and where a forest can successfully grow. While the mission was designed to take 72 years, local officials wanted results quickly. So, the vast majority of the trees planted were fast-growing poplars that could withstand the region's cold, dry winters. By the 1990s, huge numbers of them started dying, victims of the Asian longhorn beetle, which loves softwoods, including poplars. The more China planted, the more longhorn numbers exploded. Officials cut down millions of infected trees, some of which ended up being turned into packing crates for China's flourishing international trade. This allowed the beetle larvae to hitch rides to Europe and North America. But planting went on, sometimes using varied species, but often not, leading to monoculture forests. Based on the understanding that 50% might die, sometimes twice as many trees were planted as the land could sustain. From this example, we can see that what you plant, how you plant, and where you plant is crucial for afforestation efforts to yield positive results. And this is why some scientists caution against planting trees, especially non-native species. Although there are problems with China's afforestation programs, China is one of the few countries that is planting a lot of trees. Luckily, China has learned a lot from its efforts, and recent projects are focusing more on mixed forests and total ecological restoration. Planting new forests is important, and we can all agree that planting more trees will benefit the environment. So, let's get our shovels and start digging. Well, yes, but also no. Remember the skeptics? They had two issues with planting more trees. The original question was, can planting trees save the world? And the answer is actually no, according to this group of scientists. The reason they give is, well, based on science. According to Inside Climate News, fossil fuel burning and fires emit about 11 gigatons of carbon per year, while forests, fields, grasslands, and oceans absorb about 6 gigatons. So every year, about 5 gigatons go into the atmosphere. We currently have around 3 trillion trees in the world, according to a 2015 study led by researchers from Yale University. While that is a lot, the number has actually fallen by about half since the start of modern human civilization. And worse, we continue to lose around 10 billion trees each year. Some quick math shows us that planting 1 trillion trees isn't going to solve the crisis that we face. We also have to cut our carbon emissions. So planting trees isn't the solution, but that doesn't mean it shouldn't be done. It just means that reduce, reuse, and recycle, along with planting more trees, is the only way we can start to make a difference. This was my contribution to Earth Day. I planted 2 trees. Let me know in a comment what you did on Earth Day. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to see more content focused on sustainability. Also, if you subscribe, that will bring me closer to 20,000 subscribers. And when we hit 20K, I am going to plant 20 more trees. So, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.